forward to have an open discussion at the end. Thank you.
Okay, let's get started. Oh, first, can everybody see my screen? I just shared the slides.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can
perfect.
see it fine.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you all for taking time to join today's professional development meeting. Today, the three of us will presenting how AI is influencing the supply chain industry. And before we begin, I would like to briefly introduce ourselves.
Hey, everyone, I'm Jun. I'm the guy on the very left. I spent most of my career in supply chain, working hands-on in demand planning, inventory planning, and also supply chain analytics. And also, I'm currently a senior business intelligence engineer. So what difference my work is that I don't really just build models or dashboard. I also build a system that actually change how planners and leaders make decision. So like my work has improved the forecast accuracy by double digit in the past and limit large amount of manual planning works. And those also helped scale analytics and AI across our internal organization. I'm currently especially interested in how AI can support real-world supply chain decisions. Not replacing the planners. I am excited to connect with other professionals who care about practical and high-impact supply chain innovation.
Hi, I'm Xiaochong. I'm software engineer from one of the big tech. My main work is uh, convert the supply chain business idea to the platform and software. Uh, so very happy to come here and share my knowledge to the people here.
Okay, thank you, Xiaochong. Hello, everyone. I'm Hilary Liu. I'm a senior program manager in a big tech company. So I've been working in supply chain industry for almost 12 years, with a focus on planning, inventory, and a building system that support better decision making. So in recent years, I've been exploring how AI and analytics can help supply chain professional learn faster and operate more efficiently. So we are really excited to be a part of this today's discussion. And then before we got started, we would like to acknowledge that many of you here must have more experience in the supply chain industry than what we do. And that we want to recognize this openly. So what we're sharing today is simply based on our own experience as a young professional, how we are using AI to learn faster and support a better decision making and then grow our career in supply chain. So please take whatever is useful for you and leave whatever is not. And then we truly looking forward to learning from your perspective during the discussion and a Q&A session. Okay, with that being said, let's take a look at today's agenda. So we will start by walking through a set of practical AI use cases across key supply chain functions, including demand planning, inventory and material planning, warehouse execution, logistics management, and the reporting. So these are the examples are meant to be concrete and grounded in real operational problems. From there, we will shift the focus to how we can learn utilize the AI to do to improve the supply chain efficiency. So we will close with discussion and a lab demo cases where we will walk you through a real two real examples how AI can be used in practice to supporting supply chain decision making. Okay, let's move on to our practical use AI use cases. Start from the planning. Pass to you, Jun.
Yeah, thank you, Hilary. Can we show the next page? Okay, before I start with any actually use case, let's start with this simple comparison, right? On the left, This is what a traditional supply chain professional's day often looks like. There are stacks of spreadsheets, internet phone calls, and bunch of manual reconciliations. And decisions are often made under pressure, right? And with incomplete and outdated information. And most of the time, you spend is reacting. In other words, firefighting. You are reacting to stock outs, out of stock, delays, forecast misses, and a lot of times last minute surprise. It's always a surprise. In this world, supply chain professionals are not short on skills or effort. They are short on time and visibility. Now let's look at the right side, right? Um, this is the same supply chain role, but with AI as the co-pilot. You see the little robot in the back. Um, Instead of manual polling data, AI continuously monitoring demand, inventory, and logistics in real time. So instead of waiting for a problem to appear, the system predicts risk before they happen. And instead of asking what went wrong, we ask which option creates the best outcome. So here, the AI does the calculation, simulation, and the detection. And a human do what we do the best, right? We do the judgment, making strategy, and also decision making. Okay, you might ask, well, this looks great, right? But how does AI actually help me? Let me work through a few examples you probably recognize. Next page, please. Next page. Okay. So let's start with one of the most common situations in demand planning, right? The forecast runs, um, and the member changes. And immediately the first question is not what the new forecast is why. Um, this comes a lot when we need help on the forecast explanation, especially in demand planning. So as the planners, we spend a huge amount of time answering that why. Why did the demand go up? Why did this skill behave differently? And is this a promotion, or because of a seasonality or just a noise, right? Um, Traditionally, answering those questions is very manual. I mean, I know that. I know it's very tedious job. We pull multiple reports, we check promotions, we look at recent sales and history, and a lot of times we just ask around what's going on, and then we piece together an explanation, right? That's a lot of times what happened. Um, so the thing is, the explanation exists, but it lives in different parts, and it's the planner's job to really piece together everything. Um, but here's the rescue. This is where the LM, LM, it fits very naturally in demand planning. It's not replacing the forecast model. It's not to change the numbers. It's to explain the forecast change in a business language. In this use case, right, how it works is the LM looks at the historical forecast deltas, historical patterns, and um, it knows the event like promotions or seasonality, and then it produce a clear explanation. What changed, what drove it, and whether this is a temporary or structural. So instead of every planner explaining the same thing over and over, the explanation became consistent, fast, and reusable. Um, the key point here is the trust, right? The planners still own the forecast, but the models still produce the number, I mean the forecasting model. Here I think the LM agent helps the answer the question everyone would ask first, right? As I mentioned earlier, we'll change it away. So, in summary, in demand planning, the AI creates value not by predicting the demand, but by explaining it. Okay, I know this talk is boring, so I bring a sample video to show you um, what Amazon offers service that can work directly with your data and you can talk to it. It's called Amazon Q. Can I show the video?
Let's meet our main characters for this demonstration. John is a new financial advisor at any company. He oversees a large portfolio of clients. John uses multiple applications to deliver great client experiences, conduct meetings, and provide important business updates. Nikki is a business operations manager at any company and is responsible for the implementation of Amazon Q Business for John's team of financial advisors. Any company financial adopted Amazon Q Business so that they can leverage generative AI to help them increase employee productivity, increase satisfaction, and surface key insights across their business. Let's dive into one example which will help John and his team be highly productive throughout their day. John is in his first few weeks and it's been a great onboarding experience. He has everything he needs at his fingertips with his personalized assistant. This is a very different experience from his previous company, where John was frustrated with how manual and tedious it was trying to find information. Now, it's easy for him to find the latest product information, customer documents, or even important internal employee documents. Not only is it easy for John to find information, but he can also create personalized materials for his customers simply by leveraging his personal files. This makes the experience feel like it was built just for him. This helps him be more productive and creative for his clients. John often needs important insights about his client accounts. He is not as highly proficient in certain skills such as SQL and does not feel confident building custom reports in all the different applications any company uses. With Amazon Q Business, insights are right at his fingertips, all through a conversational experience. In John's previous company, he would have had to wait weeks and work with many different teams to get these kind of insights from multiple systems. As John ramps, his peers and leaders love how data-driven and thorough his business updates are, and they've asked him to help scale this to the rest of his team. John can scale this through his Amazon Q experience. He can templatize the way he creates business updates and share them with his team members, improving the overall effectiveness of his team, surfacing critical updates that result in insights for the business. Now, it's easier than ever for Amazon Q Business customers to set up highly personalized experiences for their teams. Nikki is a longtime team member of any company's business operations team. She helps set up any company's business applications, and she is creating a new use case for the generative AI assistant. Setting up Amazon Q Business is easy. In just a few clicks, Nikki can create an Amazon Q assistant that helps accelerate her team's productivity. After creating the assistant, Nikki needs to ensure that it leverages data sources from the various data repositories that any company uses. With 40+ pre-built connectors, it's easy for Nikki to set this up without a single line of code or requirement to leverage a developer. And just like that, Amazon Q Business is ready to accelerate the productivity of employees and deliver great outcomes to employees and their clients. Throughout his day, John uses a lot of different applications like his CRM, his project management tool for tracking major projects, and many different productivity applications. Amazon Q is available in all of these different experiences, ensuring that John can access Amazon Q Business anywhere. For example, instead of spending hours reading through long wikis to understand any company's unique processes, he can easily see quick summaries and get up to speed in minutes. Any company also uses other popular applications. As John manages his work, embedded generative AI surfaces contextual information within his favorite business applications, such as Asana. In this example, John is managing deliverables for a critical project in Asana, and he has surfaced important information in the moment. Now that John is done updating his project plan, he wants to ensure this information is updated where any company tracks customer information. With Amazon Q Business, John can do this directly from the assistant. John is done updating his project plan and wants to ensure this milestone gets captured in any company's CRM. Nikki is excited to see how productive and happy this experience is making her team. The feedback has been great so far. Recently, John made a suggestion for how he would like to see standard business operating procedures integrated into the process and help drive more efficiency. For Nikki, no matter how complex user workflows are, it will be easy to automate them without development resources. This makes accommodating John's request simple. Nikki can create automated workflows that reflect any company's standard operating procedures. She can do this by using prompts, existing documents and SOPs, and assets she already has, like videos and images. Coming soon, workflow automation is a few clicks away. And for Nikki, she has access to a robust set of dashboards that help her understand and measure productivity gains from Amazon Q Business, and also help her understand and increase accuracy to improve results over time. And even better, as Nikki analyzes her team's performance, she uses Amazon Q to do comparisons across the team. During this interaction, she has a link to a dashboard visualizing key business insights. Any company uses Amazon QuickSight as their business intelligence solution to surface insights about their organization. Nikki is able to use Amazon Q to ask questions, automate her work, and create executive-level stories. This includes deep analysis of her data, which requires data points from many different types of sources and applications. Previously, this type of work was manual and error-prone. Now, Amazon Q Business automates this where her data already is. All of these built-in capabilities help increase productivity and demonstrate the value she brings to the business.
Okay, thank you guys for watching. Let's move on to the next use case. Next page. This is about seasonality detection and also the demand signal detection. Next page, please. So let's start with a business problem. There is thousands of skills in your catalog, but you don't know which one is seasonal. Well, you could manually tag some skill or even use wildcard search to tag some. But in the end of the day, you cannot scale this methodology. Um, for example, let's look at this product. It's called uh, warm white string lights, and it's for indoor decorative lighting. So on the surface, there's nothing seasonal about it. It doesn't say Christmas, it doesn't say holiday. It just sits in the catalog all year long. A traditional model or even a wildcard will look at the world and a category at the face value and says this is a generic home decor. The demand should be fairly stable. But now this is not how customer actually buys it. The humans buy these lights because they are thinking, I'm decorating my home for Christmas. The problem is the customer don't always say what they mean in product titles, and a seller sometimes deliberately avoids the word Christmas, so the item can be sold all year round. This is where the LLM make a difference. Instead of just reading the keywords, the LLM reads like a person. It reasons like a person. It connects the words indoor, uh, warm white, string lights, residential scale and packaging. And also it recognizes a familiar pattern. This is some kind of lighting people put out in December. The LM isn't guessing. It has seen thousands of similar products and using its world knowledge to learn and understand when and why people buy them. So instead of labeling this as non-seasonal, with the AI M agent, the system label it as Christmas-driven demand, and it's with a sharp December peak, right? Um, That single difference change everything in downstream. So because we know this is a seasonal skew, we stock earlier, we avoid any December out of stock. We don't want to overstock in January because that past the Christmas holiday season. And uh, most of all, the planners don't have to manually fix the forecast. In short, the traditional model see what the product is, and the LLM agent understand what the product is for. So yeah, that's a great use case. But now let's move on to the next one. Next page, please. Um, so the other use case is for mostly for reporting, especially for executive reporting, but using a natural language. So next page, please. Um, Well, let's be honest, the executives, your boss, don't look at the forecast curves or model outputs. They look at explanations. They want to know what changed, why it changed, and whether there's any risk, right? Um, and every planning cycle, someone on the team has to write that story. It's usually the planners or the buyer, right? So we pull numbers, we look at the drivers, and then we write the code. It's not a hard work, I would say, right? But it's extremely repetitive, and uh, a lot of times the structure is almost always the same, only the number changes, right? Um, so this is where the LLM fits naturally into a solution. So how this works is the LM reads the planning output and generate a clean and executive ready summary. Um, Same structure, same language. If you run that, if you need to report every week, then it's every single week it gives output, right? However, like for the planners, you still have to review it, and the planner still owns the message. But instead of starting from a blank page, we start from a draft that already makes sense. Um, in summary, right, this use case works because it doesn't change the planning decision. The human element is still there, but it's just removing the most competitive part of the communication. Especially communicating to the senior executive and leadership. Um, Next page, please. Um, Let me break down into more detail on what's happening here. Um, Imagine you are a demand planner. Every single week after the forecast refresh runs, you have to write a weekly summary. This is not a difficult work, but it's very tedious. I can tell you that. I've been there. I know that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys been there as well. Um, you kind of already know, what you're going to write. Um, Something like the demand is up because of promotion. Um, this category is seasonal, so it's up. Um, Maybe there's some kind of risk in, week five. The structure never really changes, only the number do, right? So what do? You open the last week summary, you copy it, you change a few numbers, and then you spend 20 minutes making sure, the word sounds right because this is going to a leadership, I mean finance, operation, or CT, COO. Um, and but imagine you multiply this repetitive tedious job for every category, every region, US, Canada, I mean, Midwest, East Coast, um, and you do this also every week. And suddenly, a big part of the demand planning is not planning at all. It's rewriting the same explanation over and over again. This is where the natural language AI starts to make sense. It's not making decisions for us. It's not changing the forecast. It's just to write the part we already know how to write faster, more consistently, and without starting from a blank page. Um, so instead of spending time typing, we spending more time to think. Okay, next page. Um, so let's think about on the flip side from the executive's perspective, right? Um, Let me show you what the executive actually see in this setup. They don't see a model, they don't see a forecast curve, they see a short written summary, something like the total demand forecast increased 6% versus last cycle. The increase is mainly driven by promotion starting next week with additional contribution from a normal seasonal acceleration. The inventory coverage is sufficient for the first 4 weeks. There is a potential supply risk in week 5 if demand exceeds the plan. Well, you notice a few things here. Um, there's nothing fancy here. No AI language, no technical terms. This is exactly how a planner would explain the situation in a meeting. So, but the difference is the summary is generated automatically every week with the same structure and then grounded with the actual planning data. So the whole solution is valuable not because the executive suddenly raised more. It's valuable because the alignment with the executive happens much faster and easier. Uh, so with the leadership reading this, they immediately understand three things: what changed, why it changed, and where the risk is. Right? It sounds cliche. It's the old what, why, where story, right? Um, but the beauty of this is there's no back and forth like, from the leadership to you or to the planners, or to the buyers. Things like, can you explain this offline with me? Can you resend these numbers? Can you clarify what drove this? Those questions comes a lot. Um, from the planner's perspective, this removes the most repetitive part of their job. As the good thing is, we are not deciding less. We're just rewriting the same thing, not rewriting the same explanation from scratch every week. Um, so in the end of the day, the AI tool is not about making executives smarter. It's about making planning insight easier to consume for executives and more consistent. And also, it's a scalable solution. So, it can run every week, every month, or whatever you like. Okay, let's move to the next use case. Actually, before I continue, I want to leave some time for questions or any sharings. So at this point, do you guys have any questions or concerns or something I want to discuss? So the floor is open.
Yeah, so before we continue, I just want to share. So one of my example that I got impacted by the AI nowadays. So I'm the like I mentioned, I'm program manager at a big tech company that is focused on e-commerce. So my role is mainly focused on improve the like vendor inventory to avoid out of stock. So every week that I need to write a weekly business review, like which vendor have the highest out of stock rate, and then how we manage next week's planning. So right now, everything is written by the AI. So compared with before, I need to probably pull the data, writing SQL, like probably take half of my day, Monday, to write the business review and send it to my manager. So right now, the AI actually helped me write the report. What I'm doing, just review, and then to see if it makes sense, and then provide any analysis where it's necessary, but it's really expedite the whole process. So it usually takes 1 or 2 hours already to do the inventory level review for the past week. So I think that's one of the example that also Jun mentioned at the last use case, like how AI impact the supply chain job. We also want to. I know a lot of you guys are really expert on this. I'm wondering if you guys have any experience or how you look at AI that impact the supply chain industry. Um, we are really looking forward to like hear from you guys from your perspective.
I do have a question that the presentation you have been presented that mentioned that all the benefit for the supply chain in every aspect. But I think my question is how can we get started to let the AI help us? For example, if for 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I was a programmer helping people for business management by using computer software, and I would let them know how you can do this, how can you do that, how can you get started. For example, that just you can assign the software project to us, and we can build a system for you. But as of now, how can we get started to find somebody or we'll get started to let the AI help us to do to the task that we want to do. So how can you, because you are using AI, right? So how do you get this AI and how I think that can help you a lot. We all know that. But I think that uh most people they have the same question. How can we get started?
I think for me, I can share my own journey on this AI. So I think the whole generative AI stuff coming out on 2024, and for people, everybody have to learn this from scratch. Um, so we have a cultural, especially from the higher leadership, they encourage people to start to use AI. Just even simply just have a chat box, with ChatGPT, talk to them and see what can work, what doesn't work, right? Um, and we also have internal competitions where different groups, different people to work together to build a solution. Um, for example, that seasonality detection is one of the solution we developed internally as a team when in a competition. So I think that really helps. Um, and also internally we host knowledge sharing sessions every week where people everybody was testing the waters in different direction. So everybody can learn a little bit, but we share. So that's a way for people to grow. Um, and I think end of the day, just don't fear of using AI. Just try it. And nowadays the solution is very cheap, actually, very affordable. Um, so for example, we use the AWS, it's called Cloud. It's their own AI service. Just set up a AWS account and you can start to use it. It's like you know, I try for a whole day. It costs $1 for the,
So do you mean that we have a couple of tools or utilities or solutions we can use.
right, exactly.
Some are free. We all know that the ChatGPT is
Yeah,
free, right? But
yeah,
some others they might charge, and you can get started with using these AI tools
exactly.
to develop your system, right?
Exactly. I would say
Okay.
all the AI company, doesn't matter the Gemini, from Google or ChatGPT from OpenAI or even Amazon, they very encourage people to use AI on their service. For example, the Amazon offer the cloud AI services where you can build your own, AI tools and agent. And there's very simple and easy instructions online. They also teach you how to use it. Nowadays, I think it's in the market of early beginning of AI competition. All these AI providers is competing with each other. So the price is very affordable. And what they are looking for is to expand the market, expand the user base. Um, so I think it's a great opportunity. And it's not that expensive.
So does anybody has the experience of searching this AI tools, and or does anybody know that who can uh, offer us where can we find something like a list or introduction or YouTuber introduction of where can we find the tools, something like a list of these tools and what can do, what kind of a project? Is there any of the information you can share?
Um,
We don't have it prepared, but I want to share like I just search what you guys discuss. So I
Okay.
use Chat GPT.
Uh-huh.
So
on
one
the fly.
thing start share where let me take over.
Sure.
Can I share?
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh
Am I still sharing?
yeah, you're
Okay.
still sharing.
Okay, stop sharing. Okay.
Okay. So one thing allow and then uh can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so under the GPT, there's an app, there's a different apps, and then there's a GPT. So for the GPT, it's a different agent that already programmed there. So you
Mm-hmm.
can search supply chain, and there's a different supply chain agent that you can support if your own business you can support. If it's your company's data, I wouldn't like suggest to do that because that's like I have a data privacy issue. But if
Mm-hmm.
there's anything like you can search on those are free. So you can search a different agent that can support you, and then or you can say like an inventory planning. There's a lot of inventory planning, inventory reorder planner that can support you. Basically, you fit them uh, the data and ask a question. They can help you to do some analysis. And another thing that we actually plan to share today is I know that we just ask a question to GPT. So what we want to share today is another thing that is a better use, uh, like those agent. We need to ask a correct question. So right now there's a ton of a different agent, different like a GPT, Gemini, or Claude. So right now, as a model, it's not really like what kind of system or what kind of a model that you guys use would advance your company's like development. It's all based on the data. It's on if the correct question got asked to train your agent that better serve you for your business. So this is one of the things that we want to share is the prompting framework. Is we need to set up the role. Okay, so for me, I'm an inventory analyst. I'm an inventory planner, and then for the context, what we want to do is we want to do the planning for the Prime Day, let's say. And then the task is, could you give me an analysis for some of the vendor? And the output is, say, please give me let me know which vendor will be out of stock at what day. So what will be the best decision, like or reorder point, and then will be the best like a warehouse to allocate those shipment or allocate those units. So one thing is for if it's a public, if it's a free something free, you can use ChatGPT to those free agent. And then the second thing is with those kind of like accessible software, you can like better ask a better question and also provide them data to like let the agent better serve you. I hope this helped. So
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
that's
also
that's
adding
very
to that,
helpful.
actually we show that in the next slide as well.
Okay,
In one word, we need to ask the agent a question in a specific way so the agent can answer us correctly or more efficiently. So yeah, that's the whole idea. It's not, you can ask anything, you can ask in a structured way. That's
yeah,
the ideal approach.
yeah, this is one of the example that we have is like how much inventory do I need for a new smart coffee maker launch? Instead of just give them like a really general question. So we need to provide, okay, what am I? So, and what's the context? What's exactly the task we want them to do? And then what will be the output that is better like serve you? So like basic give them a more concrete, more specific question. So I think that's how we like when we leverage AI is we like how we can do better job compared with the people that just only ask a general question. Yeah.
Adding to this, don't be afraid of this, prompt structure. Tell your true story. Even this prompt, we ask AI to write for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You could, yeah, it's a common approach.
okay, can
And
we ask the question, how can I get rid of my boss?
they probably can provide you some suggestions, I guess. Okay.
Okay,
I'm
thank
wondering if
you.
there yeah, I'm wondering if there anyone want to share. I believe you guys are pretty senior experts. We really would love to see if you guys have any experience or how you see AI from like a senior professional perspective.
Could you continue, or you just get your slide down?
We can continue. Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
let
you.
me start. The next is about material and inventory planning. Um, so I know there's numerous of ERP system on the market. For example, like the Oracle NetSuite. So probably some of you already using those systems. The system already doing a lot of work for you. It runs the MRP. It look at demand, inventory, safety stock, lead time, and also all the constraints and rules. Then it automatically generate a planned purchase order. It's really save a lot of time from you. Um, but the problem is, it's not the system creating a bad decision or wrong decision. It's the decision very hard to explain sometimes. Um, for example, like you open the planning screen, you see plan the PO on week 8, we need to buy 10,000 on week 8, and immediately someone asks, why week 8? What triggered this? Is this demand driven or CV stock driven? Right? You don't know, but you want to find an answer. To answer the question, you have to click through inventory screen, uh, online impression, online traffic information, lead times, safety stock rules, and some constraint category constraint settings. And this is not difficult, but it's slow, manual, and very repetitive. Um, so a lot of time the planning time is spent on reverse engineering the ERP's logic instead of actually deciding what to do. So the great thing is similar as the example I explained before. The beauty of LM is it can help explaining things. It's not really replacing MRP. It's not really replacing the ERP's logic. It explains the outcome in plain language. How it works. It poses similar thing. How the intermediate level report from the ERP and understand the logic in the back end. It reads all the machine language and come up with its own logic to explain what's going on in a natural language. So essentially, it's explaining the machine logic from the ERP to natural language. So yeah, here you go. That saves the day. Um, Let me give you sorry, next page, please. Let me give you a very concrete example. So, for example, the ERP generate a plan PO for component week 8. Let's call it the widget. I mean, it's I don't know why people always use that example, but yeah. Instead of manually digging through, each streams, seeing how many widgets was in demand, how many was in the inventory. A planner can simply ask the AI, ask the AM, why did the system generate this planned purchase order? Then the AM look at the planning outputs and also the backend logic and also machine language from the ERP, and respond something like, the planned purchase order is required because the projected inventory drops below safe stock on week 7. Remember, at the beginning, the PO is for week 8, right? And the safe stock is low on week 7. Then the drop is driven by a higher forecast demand, and the supplier has a 14-day lead time. Crystal clear. And existing inbound orders are not sufficient to cover the demand gap. Nothing new was calculated. The ERP already know all of this. It's just the LM connecting the dots and explaining it clearly in natural language. The language you and me understand, and also the executive understand. Well, why this matters? Like I said, uh, I can explain, you can explain the decision to buyers, right? To finance people and to operation and also to the leadership. And you can decide faster. And should I accept this order, adjust it, or overwrite it? That's a decision you can make much faster because you understand why the PO was generated by ERP. Okay. Um, in the end of the day, um, especially in the material planning, the LM don't make decision. It just make the decision understandable. That's the beauty of LM. It can help people to understand things. Okay, we're not done yet. We still have 2 more use cases. Let Hillary continue the sharing. Hillary, it's your turn.
Thank you, June. I will talk about practical use case in warehouse and logistics management. So let's start with the warehouse. Next slide, please. So the core problem in warehouse management isn't poor execution. It's a static decision making in a dynamic environment. So conditions inside a warehouse change hour by hour, but many decisions are still locked in start of the shift or based on the historical average. So the gap is where congestion, overtime, and missed LA come from. So this happens frequently during the peak time or different seasonality products. So main problems are including labor imbalance across zones, access to travel and congestions in the warehouse, throughput, volatility during the peaks, and then react to the firefighting to protect SLAs during the peaks. So I would like to talk about one of the example that Amazon uses to drive the dynamic labor task orchestration. So Amazon applies machine learning model to continuously rebalance the labor and the workers across different fulfillment centers. AI system ingests the real-time data, including order flow, peakers productivity, congestion signal, and a historical execution pattern to first dynamically reprioritize work across peak, pack, and replenish, and then shift the labor between zones during the shift, not just between the shift, and then predicted bottleneck before the SLA and are at risk, and also optimize the batch size and the work sequencing. So basically, supervisor retain control while the AI provides this decision recommendation at machine speed. So Amazon leveraging AI, and then what they observed is double-digit labor productivity improvements, reduced congestion, and more stable throughput, and also lower overtime and a fewer last-minute labor escalation. This is one of the example that how AI influence warehouse management. Next slide, please. Another great example is DHL, so which they use AI to conduct the slotting prediction and peak path optimization. So they apply machine learning to predict the SKU demand patterns and the dynamic optimized slotting and the peak path. So basically, the AI model, the machine learning model, would analyze SKU velocity and co-person behavior. For example, baby products comes with diaper, and the people purchase shampoo always comes with conditioner or body wash. So system will recommend the slotting them together. Second is they also analyze order profiles by time and days and season, especially for during the peak time or during different kind of seasonality products. Also, they improve the travel distance and the congestion patterns. So they were based on their dynamic data and the warehouse to recommend different kind of peak path or different optimize the slotting. So the system recommended reslotting or to optimize the sequencing to reduce travel and congestions. And then what they observed is 20% reduction in the peaker travel distance, improved peak rates, and a faster associated onboarding, and a more consistent execution during the seasonal demand spikes. So this is another great example how AI or machine learning could improve the warehouse management. I know a lot of people may ask, so, and also June also covered these topics. So this planning and also ERP are like already did exactly the same thing. So what's different between the current ERP or planning system versus the AI? So ERP system execute the transaction and enforce rules. Also, the planning system generate plans based on the rules. However, the AI sits on top of those systems, answer questions they weren't designed to answer, and then like why something changed, what's exactly to break, and where intervention matters, and also think of AI as a decision supporter, not a system replacement. But also AI improves the accuracy of the planning based on the dynamic input. This is how AI to improve overall compared with the current traditional planning and the traditional ERP system. Okay, next slide, please. Let's move on to the next use case in the logistics. Thank you. So for logistics, like logistics network operates across multiple carriers, links, nodes, and external dependencies such as weather, ports, customer, shipment delay, capacity shortage, and the cost overruns are often identified only after they occur. So I know there's a lot of like many companies there have a really good system to improve the visibility of the where the shipment located at, if there's a delay. But traditional transportation, like they only improve the visibility, but doesn't really predict the disruption. So what we see in today, the main problem are mainly like late identification of the shipment delays, reactive to like expedited shipment, and then the inconsistent on-time delivery performance, high planner workload, and decision fatigue. So what AI could drive is improve the predictive accuracy, also manage the disruption in advance. So one of the example is DHL. So they apply machine learning models to predict shipment delays before they occur. And the AI model ingests the signal including GPS data, carrier performance, weather, port congestion, and historical lane behavior to dynamically update ETAs and flag at-risk shipment. So planner receive early warning and the recommendation to mitigate and the risk rather than reacting after the delivery failure. So AI could not only improve the visibility, but also could drive the change, which the impact could include early detection of the delays, improve on-time performance, reduce manual tracking, and more consistent customer delivery commitments. So that's one of the example for how AI could drive the change in logistics management. Another example, next slide, please. Another example, like in the logistic area is logistic domain, is the AI could drive the transportation planning and the cost optimization. So we all know right now, due to the seasonality and the geopolitical instability, demand across different shipping routes can shift drastically. Instead of like, especially when like Chinese New Year is coming, and then there's people to stock in advance, and then also there's if the geopolitical instability happen, people like to ship their shipment at once to their destination country. So Maersk use AI to optimize routing and mode selection across complex shipment transportation networks to like detect those kind of risk in advance, and then to evaluate cost, transit time, because capacity constraint, and the risk in near real time to recommend optimal routing decision as a condition change. So instead of locking plans days or weeks in advance, so AI could enable continuous replanning based on the actual network condition. And then one of the what we observed, the impact is reduce the transportation cost, and then lower the reliance on the premium freight, and improve the resilience during the disruption, and better trade-off between the cost and service. So this is another example how AI could drive the dynamic routing plan and improve the cost efficiency. Okay, so those are the two main topics I want to talk about. So one's warehouse, the other one is the logistics. Let's move on to the next topics. So as a supply chain professional, as a people like don't have like computer science degree, doesn't really do coding. So what we can do to utilize AI to improve our work efficiency, to better support our decision making in the supply chain. So this is what we want to talk about today, and then let's welcome Xiaochong to discuss how we can learn from zero and to leverage AI to improve our work efficiency. Thank you.
Thanks, Harry. Let's get started to have some exciting demo. So before we jump to the demo, we want to understand the the rules of the road. Uh, basically the principles when we trying to using generic Gen AI or LLM. So AI is powerful, but it's not magic. It requires specific guideline to be effective in a supply chain context. First, understanding the agent. So the LLM are probabilist engines. They don't know the fact, the way how human performance. They only predict the next likely words, which means without clear intent, they will guess. So our job is trying to reduce the guessing space. So the second is context. So the model is only as good as the data you feed in. If you ask generic questions, you will get generic answers. So we need very concise quality context. Uh, so which we will using RAG, retrieval augment generation, which is giving AI to access your specific supply chain politics, inventory, historical data, etc. So third one is human in the loop. Never let AI drive blindly. We must implement human in the loop workflow. So you are the expert and AI is assistant. You can imagine AI is just your intern. You must verify the reasoning to catch all the hallucinations, which is confident but wrong answers. So the last one is break it down. Finally, you need to decouple the complex tasks. Don't ask don't ask for a big, massive supply chain plan in one prompt. Break the workflow into several steps. So it will make the model show its work and improve the accuracy. So how we gonna apply those principles? We will using a structure which is RCTO framework, role, context, task, and output. Let's start with role. Role is basically we are defining the persona. Tell AI who it is. For example, you are a senior demanding planner or you are logistic analyst. So context, set the context. Like what's the specific challenging, what's the constraint? For example, we are currently facing a stock short stock in the northeast region, and task is be specific to the action. Don't just saying fix it. Saying analyze the root cause and propose three options. So the output is defining the output format. Do you want a email dropped, a JSON file, a table with specific column? If you don't ask the format, you will just get a bunch of text. So let's go to two examples with demo to present how weak prompt and strong prompt performance. So let's look at the prompt structure first. Imagine we are launching a new smart coffee maker, Model Z. So the weak prompt is we probably, as a typical beginner, we probably will just ask how much inventory do I need for a new smart coffee maker launch. This prompt is too weak. The AI doesn't have historical data or any constraints. So apply the framework. Let's do it this way. We assign its role as an NPI strategist. So we are explaining the Model Z is similar to the old Model Y launched 2 years ago and share the similar adoption curve. So the task is we ask AI to estimate demand for the first 8 week using uh, look-like modeling based on Model Y specific historical. Uh, like 500 unit week, 500 unit in week one, and 10% growth. So the output, we want to have a comparison table with 3 scenarios: conservative, moderate, and aggressive. So let's start with this example demo.
Okay, Xiaocong, are you ready for the demo? If not, we can have some questions from the audience, if there's any.
No worries. Let's get started.
Okay.
You guys can see my screen.
Yep, I can see it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to using ChatGPT and Gemini to do the demo stuff. Uh, so let's go with very basic weak prompt and see what ChatGPT can give us. So you can see since we didn't give any background, any information or any task or the output format we required. So basically they are giving nothing. They're giving one generic answer, which is we don't know what they are talking. Yeah, they also mention if you are want a more precise answer, what they need to have. So let's say if we gave like we're giving the prompt with framework rule, task, rule context, task, and output, and let's see how Gemini performs.
Hey, Xiaocong, maybe you want to try Gemini instead, since ChatGPT is still waiting to search.
No, here this is a Gemini.
Oh, I mean, this is ChatGPT. Are you
No,
sharing the right screen?
uh, uh,
Wait, you are sharing the ChatGPT screen, not the Gemini.
okay, so you guys can only see my ChatGPT screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay, we see it now.
Hmm. Wait,
This is still ChatGPT, not Gemini.
there's something. Let me just give you all the. So you can
Oh,
see
okay.
it's okay.
Okay.
Uh, we have go through this part. You can see this part, right?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's see the Gemini's response.
Oh, this is
So
the one with the whole content, right? Row
Yeah,
content.
yeah, this one we have the whole content, rule, context, task, and output. So here, Gemini using the persona we are giving and then using the model we are giving. So now it's giving the answer which have our requirement like 8 weeks demand forecast with model Z, with conservative, moderate, aggressive output, which also give our strategy like how we gonna do, like give some suggestions. Yeah, basically you can see if we didn't give any context, any background to the LLM, they are giving we are giving generic prompts, they are giving generic output. Yeah, that's the difference. I think for this one, the generic input or generic uh prompt is lead to a bad or the answer we don't want. All right, let's go to next part.
Okay, let me share. 1 second. Okay, I also want to add, the reason why we set up the problem this way is because we want to control the output, especially want to make sure the LLM agent give us exactly the output structure we want. So that's why in the very last step we define the output structure and the output um this is a clear instruction. So um otherwise, we just let the LM to do its own job. The output can be anything. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next example
You want to demo directly? This next
here.
one.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah,
You want to share? Okay. Let me stop sharing.
yeah, sure. So for the example two, here we are asking make a dashboard for logistic carriers, which is basically very generic input. Let's see what ChatGPT can give us. So you can see, but here the dashboard is very weak. So ChatGPT directly give us the coding, like the code, which is exactly what we really don't want. So so let's see if we give more context here. So for rule, we ask them to be the logistic data analyzer, and then we give them context. We need review monthly performance of our premier carrier DHL, UPS, FedEx, and text is generated mock data set for last month, and then present the dashboard view as a table. And then the output is give us three scenario in comparison table, the conservative, moderate, and aggressive. Let's see.
See, with a more detailed instruction, it takes longer for the LM to consolidate its answer.
So basically, this is. Uh, So, sorry. Basically, this is the output. Uh, we got the table with a mock data set, and we get the output contains exactly what we want. We want how a status to flag, and we have the OTIF. We have average transit cost per unit. Yeah, that's what we want. So yeah, basically this is two example we want to show the demo. Also, the one suggestion I can give for when you're trying to chat with LLM is trying to structure your prompt. If you don't know how to write, you can even using uh chatbot or LLM to structure your prompt. Just like give your if you just want directly input and then ask them to prepare a prompt for you based on the information you provide and using that prompt to as a input to the LLM. That part with with this prompt, you can get better output or better results. Yeah.
Okay, that's all I want to share today. Thank you all. And do you guys have any questions or comments?
That was very interesting. Thank you. And I really appreciated the examples of the prompts. I didn't realize at first that you put all of that in one, like all the prompt, I mean the role, context, text, task, and output. I didn't realize you put all of that before you like, submit it. So that was interesting. I'm curious if you have had any errors with using AI in your supply chain roles, and what on one of your slides you talked about like mitigating hallucinations. I've never heard of it being called that. Um, I'm guessing those would be mistakes, right? That it would
Yeah.
make.
Yeah.
So have you had any experience with that? And what does the implement human in the loop mean exactly?
Um, so I guess the thing is, um, there's LM is nothing but a machine learning algorithm. It guesses what's the next word. It has its own strengths and weakness, right? Um, so that's why we have to put a human as guardrail, you know, in using AI. You cannot trust everything AI just mentioned. Um, so the AI hallucination is a term we commonly use, basically referring to the AI give us the right answer. That's it. Um, so um, at this stage, there's a couple methodology. You can avoid hallucination. Basically, there's one way you can have multiple agent to vote on their answers. Agent being like its own AI persona. Like acting as a different person, so they can compete and argue with each other. So to give a correct answer. So there's also a way to check and validate. You have one agent to give output and another agent to check and validate the answer. If it does not, the other agent will basically say, hey, this doesn't look right. What's going on? Yeah. So I mean, in this field, there's a lot of different approach, and this still have it's innovating. Um, so yeah, I mean, just to Google it and ask ChatGPT, what's the common approach to avoid AI hallucination? Um, so the best sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just want to say, so I mean, for yourself, your own work, and we use the ChatGPT or Gemini. So, like Jim mentioned, that we need to verify if it's true, and then we do like vote on the answer. And then for the company wise, well, based on my experience with my current company, is every time they have they're building an agent, we have to recalibrate. So we work with the engineer to recalibrate what exactly is right or wrong. And then, so initially recalibration is really most important thing. Also, it includes like one thing is we let them know what's our role. Another thing is we probably could set up a system prompt. Is okay, you can do not give me this answer based on if I ask this, and then give me this answer if I ask this. There's a system prompt at the end, at the back end of the agent, the AI. So whatever your company is trying to adopt, or your like in-house system your engineer is trying to build, there's a place that you can put in the system prompt. Instead of like a daily prompt, there's a system prompt preset. There's a different role you can set up. Okay, don't give me this if I act this. So give me this if I act this. Or every Monday, if I act this, give me the whole bunch of things. So you don't need to paste all this roles context every time. You just like next time you just ask one question, and they will based on the roles you previously set up to give you all the things that you want. So that's how our like usually the agent works. So
I can also give you, our my use experiences. So for the example, we produce the weekly report. I think Hillary also mentioned, we use AI to write a report, on a weekly basis. Um, as the first couple writings, I mean, as the first maybe 2 or 3 months, we still have a human manually checking the results from AI. After that, we kind of trust the AI, and in 3 months period, we find out, where the AI hallucinating and why, and we fix that. And it's a evolving process. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your very fruitful, very bright presentation. Thank you.
Thank
thank you
you.
all.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.